Association of Yale Alumni presents Yale Highlights, 1976. The 1976 Yale football season was expected to be a season of hope. Hope that it could improve on its third-place position in the Ivy League in 1975, despite a 7-2 record. Prime area for concern was the linebacker corps, depleted by graduation, and the secondary, where all four starters were lost through graduation. This is a team that was destined to meet every challenge and pressure placed upon them. And this is a team that would wind up with the Ivy League championship and 6 of its members named to the coach's All-Ivy team.
Our opening game this year is against Brown University, an Ivy League opponent, and we're starting a week earlier. There are a lot of new faces in this ball game that didn't appear last year. In fact, on defense, there isn't one fellow that started that will start in this ball game. Offensively, there are 5, including our captain, Vic Stafari.
The opener against Brown at Providence and an ABC TV regional game was not an indicator of things to come for Yale. Turnovers were to plague the Elis in this Ivy League opener. In the second period, Brown's Billy Hill carried to the Yale 11, where he was stopped by All-Ivy defensive end Pete Bonicum of Amityville, New York. Now with a 2nd and 6, Paul Machalko fires to Billy Hill on the 6. Hill carries it in for the score, and Brown goes out in front 7-0. Brown had a 4th and 5 on their own 15-yard line. Back in punt formation. The snap from center is never made. The ball is fumbled, and Yale recovers. Senior quarterback Stone Phillips from Baldwin, Missouri, finds sophomore back John Hayden of Westerville, Ohio at the Brown 3 and steps out of bounds. Yale now has a 1st and goal at the 3. On the next play, Phillips keeps himself, goes off the left side and into the end zone for the TD. However, the conversion attempt fails, and Yale trails 7-6. At halftime, the halftime theme is devoted to the bicentennial celebration. In the third period, Yale's All-Ivy and record-breaking back John Pagliaro of Derby, Connecticut takes a pitch and carries around the right side to the Brown 47 for a 1st down. High formation. John Hayden rips up the middle and carries it to the Brown 33. Yale has a 4th and 2 at the Brown 26, but Phillips on a pitch to Hayden is hit by Van Rippenk of Brown at the line of scrimmage, and the ball turns over. 4 plays later, Brown with a 1st and 10 at midfield. Machalko passes to Polasic, who takes it to the Yale 33, where he is stopped by Chris Judge, senior defensive back from the Bronx, New York. On the next play, with a 1st down at the Yale 33, flanker Charles Watkins goes off left tackle, scampers 33 yards into the end zone for the score, putting Brown out in front 14-6 at the end of the 3rd quarter. In the 4th quarter, with time a factor, Pagliaro churns up the middle, cuts to the left sidelines, and finally is knocked out of bounds at the Brown 24. Yale driving downfield. Hayden will take this snap. Goes off the right guard slot and takes it to the Brown 19 for a gain of 5. Yale with a 2nd and 5 at the Brown 19. Phillips bobbles the snap. Brown recovers, and with it stops Yale's threat. Brown wins it 14-6. Yale loses its opener and is 0-1 in Ivy League play. The 2nd game of the season finds Yale in the bowl at New Haven, facing their traditional state rival, the University of Connecticut. Pagliaro, the state-grown product, takes a pitch out to the left, cuts back up the middle for 9 yards to the Yukon 28. Yale out of the huddle. Stone Phillips looking over the defense. Makes his snap. Rolls out to the right side. Finds sophomore receiver Bob Christianak of Allison Park, Pennsylvania on the 15. Christianak carries it to the Yukon 11. Fullback Mike Southworth, All-Ivy punter a year ago, carries it to the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, Southworth, the 220-pound fullback from Webster Grove, Missouri, plunges over for the score, and Yale takes a 7-0 lead on Randy Carter's conversion. In the 2nd period, Connecticut's leading running back, Nick Giaquinto, takes a pitch out, moves 5 yards to the Yale 25. On the next play, with a man in motion, Giaquinto hits the line, bounces off one, and hits off another tackler. heads for the left side, getting by the last man, and then romps 25 yards for the score. The conversion will be good, and the game is tied at 7-all. Just before the half, UConn scores on a 35-yard field goal and takes a 10-7 lead to the locker room. Sophomore fullback Rick Angelone of Yale from Wallingford, Connecticut impresses the state crowd with a 21-yard carry to the Connecticut 26. The 5'11", 185-pound Pagliaro slams into the left side, is hit twice, still gets loose, and takes a would-be tackler over the goal line with him, and Yale goes back out in front 14-10. Now Pagliaro mobbed by his teammates. More importantly, Yale is in control of the football game. In the fourth period, Yale's senior linebacker Scott Ruth from Glencoe, Illinois, will pick off a Bernie Palmer pass and start upfield, heading for UConn territory. He's driven out of bounds on the 18. Scott Ruth being congratulated as he comes to the sidelines. Hayden goes in motion to the left side. John Pagliaro up the middle to the 10-yard line of UConn. 3 plays later now. Again, Hayden goes in motion to the left side. Bobby Rizzo at quarterback pitches to Pagliaro. He crashes over for the score, and the 21-10 Yale victorious. Let's hear now from Yale fullback Mike Southworth.
Coming from Webster Groves, Missouri, I initially wanted to attend the University of Missouri and play big-time football for them. I visited Yale, and in comparing the two schools, I decided that the football program here could be just as fulfilling and satisfying. In addition, Yale offered a first-rate education. I punted last year, but did not run quite as much. This year I'm running more, and I'm not punting quite as well. I'd say that I haven't made many adjustments. I'm working just as hard. It's frustrating, though, to not punt as well.
An undefeated Lehigh football team comes into the Yale Bowl, fresh from a big win over the University of Pennsylvania. Both teams in the pregame warm-ups. It's Parents' Day at Yale, and the weather doesn't dampen the spirits of this notable parent from California, Ronald Reagan. Lehigh with the football. Riker wants to pass. This is in the third quarter. And the pass is picked off by the Eli Scott Ruth at the 45. He returns it to the Yale 31, where he's driven out of bounds. Bob Rizzo hands off to Mike Southworth. The big bruising fullback drags tacklers with him to the Lehigh 7. Good for a 24-yard gain. With the ball on the Lehigh 6. Pagliaro takes a pitch out, cuts outside, back over the middle, heads for the goal line, and he scores. And Yale is out in front, 7-0 over Lehigh. Student section cheering wildly. Happy Yale team along the bench. On the very next series, Yale has the ball on their own 29-yard line. Pagliaro gets the call off that left side. Look at him high step it down the sidelines. He's going to go 71 yards downfield for the touchdown, and Yale leads 14-0. John Hayden, first man to greet him. Still in the third period, Lehigh on Yale's 11. April bursts through the right side. He takes it to the 8-yard line. Riker, Lehigh quarterback, looks for receiver Gardner, finds him. It's an 11-yard touchdown for Lehigh. The pass for the 2-point conversion is no good, and Yale leads 14-6 at the end of the third period. Midway through the fourth quarter, Pagliaro rambles for another 11 yards, taking it to the 22. Junior quarterback Bob Rizzo of Livingston, New Jersey finds wide receiver Greg Hall, a 6'3 senior from Sioux City, Iowa, on the 11. Hall carries it the rest of the way for the score, and Yale beats Lehigh 21-6 for their second win in a row. And now let's meet Yale's All-Ivy defensive end, Pete Bonico.
Well, I believe my chances of making All-Ivy this year are about as good as they've ever been. And it'll just depend on how other coaches in the league see my play as compared to the play of the other defensive ends on the other teams. I just hope I get the shot. And As far as my play this year as being the best of my career, I believe that's because I'm a senior and I've gone through the system for 2 years previous to this. So each year you learn it better, and I think the system they have here will make you a better player if you pay attention to it and learn it as they want you to.
Now it's time for Dartmouth to invade the Yale Bowl. Always tough and always with title hopes on their minds. But so does Yale. They know they must win them all from here on in. Late in the first period, Stone Phillips hits receiver John Spagnola with a great catch. A sophomore out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on the Dartmouth 42. Spagnola lugs it downfield, finally driven out of bounds on the Dartmouth 5-yard line. On the next play, fullback Mike Southworth goes over for the score and a 6-0 Yale lead. The extra point attempt was missed. In the second period, Yale has the ball on the Dartmouth 15-yard line. Stone Phillips takes the snap, starts to roll out, but he's going to be hit for a 5-yard loss. Phillips goes to the air. The pass is deflected, but it's caught by 6'3", 205-pound Kevin Kelly of Fairhaven, New Jersey. Kelly is stopped on the Dartmouth 13. Yale has a 4th and 8. Randy Carter goes for the field goal, and the hero of last year's Dartmouth game puts Yale out in front 9-0. He hits a 29-yarder later to make it 12-0. Early in the third period, Dartmouth is in punt formation on their own 37. The punt is blocked by All-Ivy end Pete Bonnicum and recovered by junior defensive tackle Paul Denza of Torrington, Connecticut. That's a happy Yale defense coming off the field. I formation. Stone Phillips fakes right, starts off left himself, and picks up 10 yards to the Dartmouth 13. John Hayden gets the call this time. Bounces off one, goes right side, straight ahead to the 3-yard line of Dartmouth. 5 plays later, Phillips pushes over from the 1. A pass attempt for 2 points is incomplete, and the score is Yale 18, Dartmouth nothing. Look at the Eli fans. Dartmouth puts together a drive late in the period. Coffey carries around the right side, but is met by linebacker Jeff Waller of East Orange, New Jersey for no gain. On a 3rd and 5 at the Yale 19-yard line, quarterback Kevin Case with some fine moves gets by one man, carries it all the way for the score. Case also carried for the 2-point conversion, and the score is Yale 18, Dartmouth 8. Dartmouth keeps the pressure on, scores another touchdown, makes it Yale 18-14. Dartmouth gets the ball back late in the game. Case passes to Wilson at the Yale 40. Thoughts of 1975's last-second thriller come to mind. Case wants to pass again. Dartmouth could win it with a score, but the pass is intercepted by Yale sophomore linebacker Bill Crowley out of Short Hills, New Jersey, who preserves the win for the Elis 18-14.
At Yale, we do a lot of different things with our offense. We utilize a number of different concepts in our multiple running attack, which require the quarterback to do more than just hand off and fake. He has to block, option, and run himself. This year's offensive squad has been run-oriented, and for a running attack to be successful as far as the quarterback's responsibilities go, he has to execute fluidly and react decisively to the situations that arise during the course of a given play. But in all, it's a team effort. The key is to complement and coordinate with one's teammates.
Yale knowing that every game is a must-win situation if they hope to keep their Ivy League title hopes alive. Hosts Columbia. Columbia wins the toss, and Carter's kickoff is taken by Stevens, who moves upfield and returns it to the 40-yard line. Good tackling by Yale. McCormick, he gets the call, rambles around the left end to the Yale 42-yard line. Brought down by Paul Denza from behind. Now it's Stevens, goes wide, but Yale's Steve Scrovan and Dave Humphreyville team up to bring him down on the Yale 25. The Yale defense digs in. Columbia's McEwen goes for a 38-yard field goal. It's good, and Columbia takes a surprising 3-0 lead. Defensive coordinator Buddy Amendola on the sidelines talking to the defense. Yale goes to work now. John Pagliaro cuts back up that middle, goes for 9 tough yards to the Columbia 25. With the ball on the Columbia 18, And with a first down, Pagliaro goes around left end, heads for that end zone. Tough man to be denied. He's not going to be, and he scores, and Yale takes a 7-3 lead. Late in the first period, Yale with a 2nd and 6. Bob Christianak leaps high to haul down this pass on the 23. Here now in slow motion, John Hayden picks up 6 yards to the Columbia 5-yard line, showing good moves along the way. Pagliaro, who runs as well as anyone to daylight, starts up that middle. Couple of good moves. Dances, spins, right side, and it's a Yale score. And the Eli's out in front 14-3. John Hayden gives him a pat on the back as he goes to the sidelines. Now in the third period, with Yale leading 17-6, Pagliaro carries up the middle, stumbles and falls on the 23. Bob Rizzo in at quarterback. Left-hander rolls out, fires, finds John Spagnola on the 13. Spagnola runs it in for the score. Yale moving 76 yards in 5 plays for a 31-6 lead. Yale adds another score by Ed Lewis, and the Eli's beat Columbia 37-6.
One of the greatest assets of the Yale football program is its outlook upon academics. Carm has always stressed the point that we are at Yale first to gain an education. And yet football at Yale is very demanding. Any successful athletic program requires commitment. But to be a serious student at Yale, in addition to playing football, it's important to budget your time effectively and to study continuously. I'm convinced that there's no easy way. You just have to dedicate yourself to lots of hard work in both areas.
For the second time this season, Yale takes to the road. The site is Franklin Field in Philadelphia. The Eli's take on the University of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, with a history in this Yale series of always playing Yale tough, especially at home. Artificial surface, Yale with the football. Handoff, John Pagliaro getting by tackler after tackler, takes it to midfield. Stone Phillips starts around that left side, now looks to the right, now takes off himself again, cuts it back to that right side, gets around one man, 20-yard line, and is going to go out of bounds at the 18. Pagliaro, 15, 10, 5, he's going to score for Yale. And the Eli's go out in front 7-0 over a tough Pennsylvania football team. Bob Graustein working out of the shotgun formation for Penn. Hits his split end. Bobby Avila at the 25 of Yale. The 20, the 15, the 10. Puts a good move on. And he goes down at the 1-yard line. This is the closing seconds of the first half. Yale concerned. Do not want Penn to score. Now Graustein takes that snap. Hands it up the middle. Ball coughs loose with a hard hit. Yale recovers the fumble and stops a Pennsylvania threat just in the closing seconds of the first half. University of Pennsylvania band performing before a homecoming day crowd at Franklin Field. In the third period, Yale's Rick Angelone gets the call, and he takes it off the right side for a 9-yard pickup. Yale driving on Penn. Stone Phillips pitches to Pagliaro. Up that middle, hurdles another man, picks up a good gainer. Pagliaro gets the call again, twists, turns, and he hits the end zone for pay dirt. And Yale is out in front of Pennsylvania 14-0, moving 80 yards in 15 plays. Once again, Yale with the football, Bob Rizzo at quarterback. His pass is intercepted by Pennsylvania's Welch. He returns it for only 3 yards as he's gang tackled down on the artificial surface. Once again, Pennsylvania's Graustein out of that shotgun formation. Fires to that right side. It's complete to Kelly. It's good for a 7-yard gain on the 35-yard line. Graustein again, working out of the shotgun. Fires down left side this time. Bobby Avila there. Spins away from his man. Down that sideline. Did he step out of bounds? The officials say no. It's a touchdown for Pennsylvania. The score, 14-7. Pennsylvania never quitting. Now Graustein going downfield. Makes the completion on the 28-yard line. Yale fans looking on with concern. Again, Graustein wants to fire for that end zone. Goes downfield deep. It's Yale's Kurt Nondorf, sophomore defensive back, who stops the threat with an interception. Now the Eli's on the move. Pagliaro, left side, 5-yard line, hits the end zone again. And Yale is out in front 21-7. Pagliaro's third TD of the game. Yale wins it as Harry Gamble congratulates Carm Cozza. Back to New Haven, the Yale Bull. Cornell will provide the opposition. Captain Vic Stafiri of the Eli's. Yale with the ball. Their own 35-yard line. Stone Phillips rolls out that left side. Throws downfield. John Spagnola with a fine catch at the 25, the 15, the 10. And he's going to be brought down from behind at the 2-yard line. First and goal to go. Hands off. Pagliaro leaps for the end zone, and he scores another 6 for Yale. Yale leads 7-0 over Cornell. Yale with a 3rd and 13 on this play at their own 47-yard lines. Phillips fires downfield to Spagnola on the 36-yard line. Now Yale with a 1st and 10 at the Cornell 36. Stone Phillips rolls out to that right side, looks downfield, finds Greg Hall on the 18. He's run out of bounds on the Cornell 10. Fourth and 1 is this play. A handoff to Pagliaro. Hits the middle. He scores. Yale leads 14-0, moving 50 yards in 8 plays. Yale fans love it. Cornell's Jimmy Hoffer at quarterback. Rolls out to that left. Fires downfield. Not for his receiver, but instead Kurt Nondorf of Yale with the interception on the 22-yard line. The defensive unit with all kinds of congratulations for this sophomore defensive back. Once again, Hoffer wants to go to the air. Deflected. It's picked off by Steve Scroban of Yale. He brings it upfield to the 10-yard line. Yale's ever-alert secondary. Cornell up the middle. LeBeau to the 9-yard line. Now with the 1st and goal, LeBeau gets the pitch, sweeps around the right side. He's going to go in for the score. And it's now Yale 14, Cornell 6, as Cornell plays the Eli's tough. Bob LeBeau up that middle through a huge hole and stopped them on the 4-yard line. Now with his 3rd down and 3 for Cornell at the Yale 4-yard line. Conference on the sideline. Cornell hands to LeBeau again. Up the middle. And he stopped on the 3-yard line. Short gain. LeBeau again is going to get the call. But it's Bob Skoronsky of Yale who's going to make the stop. And there's no gain on the play. Yale defeats Cornell 14-6 in the bowl. A deliriously happy student section. A Yale football team that was in a tough game with Cornell.
I've been calling defensive signals this year for Yale University. It's a very challenging responsibility. It's one that is worked in conjunction with the coaching staff and the players. We read the offenses that are run against us, and we try to be in the right places at the right time.
Princeton comes into the Yale Bowl next. A crowd of 36,000 on hand, watching the Yale band form the traditional block Y before the start of the game. Stein's punt attempt goes over his head into the end zone. He's down by Pete Bonnicum for a safety. Yale leads 2-0. Princeton riding a 9-game losing streak to Yale. Here's Stone Phillips, rolls out left, pitches to John Hayden, and he runs down that sideline to the Princeton 9-yard line. First and goal to go from the 9. The pitch back goes to Pagliaro. He's heading for that end zone, but he's going to go out on the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 1. Pagliaro gets the call. He dives over the middle into the end zone for the score. Yale leads Princeton 8-0, moving 48 yards on 8 plays. Now in the 2nd period, Phillips goes off that left side himself, picks up big yardage. First down, goes out of bounds on the Princeton 19-yard line. Now on this 2nd down and 6 at the Princeton 6, Hayden gets the call, and he pushes in for the score, and that's his first touchdown of the season for the sophomore back. And Yale leads the Princeton Tigers 15-0. John Hayden, a happy young man, going back to the bench, having scored his first Yale touchdown. Princeton takes to the air. Firing downfield deep, but Yale's Steve Strovan picks off the pass and stops a Princeton threat. Halftime. Now in the 3rd period, Yale 1st and 10 on the Princeton 38. Stone Phillips rolls out to the right, looks downfield. He's got John Hayden, and Hayden goes out of bounds on the 25. Mike Southworth, the fullback, gets the call up the middle, twists, turns, and takes a couple of tacklers with him to the 7-yard line. 8-yard gain on the play. Yale 1st and goal to go. Familiar scene, number 40, John Pagliaro, up the middle, bouncing off tacklers into the end zone for a Yale touchdown. Carter's kick was good. Yale leads Princeton 22-0. Pagliaro tied Calvin Hill for single-season touchdown with 14 on that last score. Pagliaro gets the call again, goes around the left side, driven out of bounds on the 5-yard line. Pitch back Pagliaro again. Outside, cuts it back up the middle, into that end zone again for another 6 for Yale. And with that touchdown, he sets a new single-season touchdown record of 15, surpassing the old mark of 14 set by Calvin Hill. And Yale leads 29-0. Yale goes on to win 39-7. Yale's title hopes still very much alive, having beaten Princeton for the 10th straight time. All East, All Ivy guard and captain, Dick Galiette.
It's been quite an honor to have been chosen captain of the 1976 Yale football team. In fact, I'm sure it's going to rate as one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I feel very fortunate to have been elected because I believe that this is a remarkable team and that its togetherness and closeness are something that I myself have not experienced before. I feel that it is a young team which has been helped by a nucleus of veterans coming back, and I think they've blended both their youthful enthusiasm and perhaps a veteran attitude of some of the older players, and we've come up with a fine team. For myself, as I look back on this season, I don't think I'm going to rate this season as unsuccessful or successful because of the wins or losses, but more so because of the relationship that I have gained from the individual players on this team. To me, football is more than a game of winning and losing, but of course that is important, but even more important in my eyes has been the relationship that I have been able to have with myself, my teammates with each other, and them with me.
Now it's all down to the final game of the season. Yale must beat Harvard at Harvard Stadium before this capacity crowd if they hope to get a piece of the Ivy League title with Brown. Beautiful sunny afternoon. Stone Phillips rolls out the pass, fires over the middle. A pass is intercepted by Harvard's Russ Savage at the 28. Starts along that right sideline, midfield, Yale territory, 40, 35. He's going to go all the way. And Harvard jumps out in front, 7-0 over Yale on the pass interception. Harvard fans, go wild. That's the way the score stood up at the half. In the 3rd period, John Pagliaro behind a good block by Steve Carfora. Bouncing off tackler after tackler, takes it for an 11-yard gain. Pagliaro gets the call again, off the left side this time, and he picks up another good gain before he's brought down. Up the middle, Mike Southworth, and Southworth hits pay dirt for the Eli's for the first time of the afternoon. And Yale, with a Randy Carter conversion, ties the game at 7-7. Jim Kubacki, Harvard quarterback now. fumbles the snap from center. And it's recovered by Yale's Keith Bassey. Yale with a big fumble recovery on the Harvard 31-yard line. The game is tied at 7-7. Bob Rizzo hands off to Pagliaro. One man gets by. Second man gets by. Third man brings him down on the 23. Bobby Rizzo wants to fire over the middle. It's complete. John Spagnola inside the 5-yard line to the 2 for Yale. Bobby Rizzo looks over that Harvard defense. Takes the snap. Pitches to John Pagliaro at the 5. He sees the goal line. He hits the pylon. It's a touchdown for Yale, and Yale moves out in front of Harvard. 14-7. Look at those Yale players. John Pagliaro happy. Everybody jumping up and down. Yale fans delirious at Harvard Stadium. Mike Southworth gets the call. He dives in for another Yale score. And Eli's out in front 21-7 at Harvard Stadium. Southworth very content with the score. Great blocking up front. Big Yale touchdown. Once again, Yale with the football. Bobby Rizzo wants to throw, but the pass is intercepted by Baggett of Harvard at the Yale 18-yard line. Now Harvard with a golden opportunity. First down in Yale territory deep. Kabaki, the quarterback, takes the snap. Pitches back to Tommy Wynn. Wynn off that right side. He's going to be brought down by Steve Strovan. It's a 10-yard gain. Now Kabaki once again barks his signals, takes the snap, rolls out to the right, wants to throw, looking for Doherty. It's complete on the 1, but no goal line for him as he is stopped by the great defensive effort of Nundorf and Steve Strovan. Harvard is stopped cold, and Yale defeats Harvard by the score of 21-7. The victory gives them a piece of the Ivy League title with Brown. A deliriously happy Yale football team. A happy Yale coach, Carm Cozza, comes across the field, congratulated by his quarterback, Bob Rizzo. Carm Cozza, with a record of 77 wins, 30 losses, 1 tie, coming across the field to meet his counterpart from Harvard and close personal friend, Harvard coach Joe Resnick. The Yale football team now carries their winning head coach, Carm Cozza, off the field at Harvard Stadium.
After our opening loss to Brown, we were concerned but not discouraged. We started 5 sophomores, and as the season progressed, we were playing as many as 11. It was a young team, a very aggressive team. The team improved tremendously. One of the most improved teams I've had in my coaching career here at Yale. We ended up with a piece of the championship with a big win at Harvard, and we led the league on offense and defense. A great credit to my coaching staff and to these fine young men, and a great way for 16 outstanding seniors to leave Yale University.
The 1976 Yale football highlights have been brought to you by the Association of Yale Alumni. Produced by Camcom Limited.